the Chicago Bulls kind of have given us an idea of what they want to do and what type of direction that they want to go. And there's been some moves that have been talked about. But right now, as it currently stands, the questions that we got to ask is Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu the Chicago Bulls' most desirable trade assets currently? And we revisit the Zach LaVine contract signing that he signed a couple years ago. We're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. If you tuned in with me today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. Before we get into the content, just want to give you guys a reminder. The mailbag episode will be dropping tomorrow. We have a few submissions. If you want to go ahead and get in tune, I will let you know at the end of this episode how you can become involved in one of our mailbag episodes that's going to take place tomorrow. But now let's get into it. So is Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu the Bulls' most desirable trade assets? The reason we ask this question is simply because right now we know that we want to move in a new direction. We have tried to move in a new direction. We even tried to move on from certain players. Two in specifically is Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. But as it currently stands, we know that Zach LaVine and his trade situation, it looks like it ain't happening no time soon. Right now, we've already been told that nobody is interested in Zach LaVine. We don't care if it's the Warriors, it's not the Clippers, it's not anybody else. So right now, Zach LaVine has to stay on this team. And so it appears that he is not a desirable trade asset for other teams around the league. Nikola Vucevic, up there in age, still a pretty productive guy. But nobody really wants him on the squad because they don't necessarily see the fit, or the Chicago Bulls might have the asking price set too damn high. We don't know. But we do know that the Chicago Bulls have set prices very, very high on some players in the past, and then eventually did a total 180 and screwed something up in Alex Caruso and DeMar DeRozan. But what's done is done. We have this deck of cards right here. This is how we're going to address it. Now, when we talk about Patrick Williams first up, we talk about his career. We bring up the career so far, pretty much saying that this guy, for 4 years that he's been around, he's been injured for 2 years, never really has broken out of that shell that has kind of hindered him and kind of prevented him from taking that next step up, because the guy has all the intangibles in the world. He has the size, he has the strength, he has the athleticism, he has a little decent mid-range, he's a 40% shooter from the three-point line, and he's a solid defender that you can stick on multiple positions. That's why I believe he is one of the most desirable assets on the Chicago Bulls, because there will be some GM who believe he's so smart and could pretend and believe he can change Patrick Williams. Now, it very well could be true. We've seen players move on to other organizations and, professionals of that team, coaches, training staff, all those guys involved, figure something out. Hell, we had one. We knew that Larry Marketing could be decent, but he wasn't really decent or good until he moved on. The same thing could be said about Patrick Williams, and he just re-up on a $98 million deal. The deal doesn't seem that bad for others on how they view it from around the league, in my perspective, because right now, looking at the situation for the Chicago Bulls, you couldn't have asked for a better deal. You saved a few $1 million. You didn't give up the entire bank. There's going to be a discussion of whether he deserved it or not. But at this point, what's done is done, and it doesn't necessarily matter. But when you do look at Patrick Williams and how he can fit with the team, there's a lot of versatility there. Especially we talk about three-point shooting and defense, what a lot of teams need to support their stars on their respective teams. Patrick Williams it could turn out to be a great addition. At the very least, it could be a solid addition. The next player, who I like to call the forgotten one, Ayo Dosunmu. He is a desirable trade asset for the Chicago Bulls. He very well is. This is a guy that came in, gave you over 15 points this past season. And then if you look at the statistics broken down month by month, Ayo Dosunmu improved every single month, especially as the injuries started to pile up for the Chicago Bulls. Guys started to miss time. Things just wasn't working right. Who was the constant professional? That is the forgotten one, Ayo Dosunmu. A threat going down the lane, a threat in transition. We even seen towards the end of last season, my man started to come through in transition when you think he about to go to the rim. Nuh-uh. Hit them brakes. Skirt. Pull up three. Whack up. Y'all know y'all seen that many a times from Ayo Dosunmu this past season. And the contract that he's on, my goodness. Somebody will love to have that contract on their books right now, especially with the production that Ayo Dosunmu will bring to your team. Defensive guy. He has defensive versatility as well. You know what I'm saying? He has offensive versatility as well. As a guy that was once a point guard and still is a point guard, but does spend time off the ball. That is a player, when it all lines up, a perfect trade candidate. So these two players could very well be the Bulls' most desirable trade assets. Is there another one? I don't know. It would have been Zach, but Zach ain't that desirable right now. Nikola Vucevic is not that desirable right now. Now, I'm not saying that you go out and trade these guys right now, but it's something you might consider long term. You know what I'm saying? Down the road. As of right now, I'd rather wait, sit on my hands, see what Patrick Williams can get me now that DeMar DeRozan is out the way and we are moving with the youth movement. Look at Ayo Dosunmu for the time that you have him, because after this contract, if you ain't got the money, I guarantee if he keeps up this production, Ayo Dosunmu getting that bag and he might be saying deuces. So you better appreciate him while you have him. So I say don't do it. And then, are there really any untouchables on this team? That's another question we got to ask ourselves. If we going down the list of untouchables for this team, do you put Ayo Dosunmu as an untouchable player? Do you put Patrick Williams as an untouchable player? I'm looking at the roster and I'm saying, is it probably Kobe White as an untouchable piece on this squad as you try to move forward? Or you know damn well that's the only play I can say for sure. Like I'm like 100% sure that Montes Buzelis is untouchable right now. Right now. I'm not saying this for next year, because he could very well come out and not be a great player, or not even show a lot of promise. He could very well do that. Do I believe that's going to happen? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't see Montes Buzelis with the mentality that he has coming out here and being a bum. No. If Montes Buzelis comes out here and be a bum, I will be flabbergasted. You feel me? Do you feel me? So that's the only player who I can say right now that I'm 100% confident in that he is untouchable. That's Montes Buzelis. The next player I'm feeling like is kind of untouchable right after Montes might be Kobe White. The Bulls did sign Patrick Williams, so I don't really know about that. He might be in the untouchable, but if the right deal come around, maybe you explore that option if you start to see something out of Montes Buzelis and maybe Julian Phillips. Maybe. I don't know. Ayo Dosunmu, I believe they know what they have. I believe they love him. But the question will be, do they view him as their younger Alex Caruso? Do the Chicago Bulls view Ayo Dosunmu to be their next Alex Caruso? Do they believe that he can be that? Do they have faith in him that he is that? I don't know. The Bulls do a lot of weird stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you. Let me know how you feel down below for sure. But before we go, we got to revisit Zach LaVine's contract. Zach LaVine's contract, who Bleacher Report deemed to be graded, if we're revisiting the signing, to be a D-. Look, y'all, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Since the signing, Zach LaVine has been iffy. Since the Chicago Bulls signed Zach LaVine, the Chicago Bulls have been iffy. But one, let me make this clear. I'm not going to sit up here and act like Zach LaVine is some type of scrub, because he's not. I still believe he's one of the better shooting guards in the NBA. He absolutely dropped spots for me, but he's still one of the best shooting guards in the NBA. However, if we are evaluating the time after the signing, they ain't made no playoffs. They've been in the play-in, and he's been hurt. It's been underwhelming. It's been bad. So I feel like the grade is appropriate. It is a D-. But some people might find it a bit harsh. But when you give a guy this kind of money, I believe it was $215 million or 205 at the time, something like that. It had a 205 in it. Y'all correct me down below for the exact number. But when you sign a guy like that after the season that he had, the expectations rise. Zach LaVine and the Chicago Bulls have not lived up to anything other than a play-in berth. You tell me. You tell me. Because I say the grade is appropriate. When we talk about Zach LaVine, we understood everything that was coming with him. We understood that for sure. But somewhere in between this tenure with DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Nikola Vucevic, something went wrong. One of the things was Lonzo Ball got hurt. Another thing is that Nikola Vucevic didn't like Zach LaVine. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's true. I'm just going off what I see on the basketball court with body language. I'm going off what I see in reports to where Nikola Vucevic is calling out Zach LaVine defensive efforts. I'm seeing a trend there. So I'm just saying. Then DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, he shined behind DeMar DeRozan when he should have been shiny in front of DeMar DeRozan. That's the problem. That's the problem. So when they come out and they give a bad grade like this, you know what I'm saying, and say that a guy's a D- when the Bulls re-upped on him, I have no sufficient evidence to argue the premise. I have no sufficient evidence for that. I can't tell you if this is worthy of being anything other than a D. It's been bad. The production has been okay, but at the end of the day, it's been bad. You can score 30 points a night. I don't give a damn. If you ain't winning, it means nothing. If you ain't winning. In the Bulls, we haven't won. It is what it is. But that is it for me today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure you comment and leave all your thoughts down below. Once again, you still have time to be a part of the mailbag episode that is dropping tomorrow. Make sure you call in, state your name, leave your take on anything. The number to do so is 773-242-9219, and it is also found in the description below. Thank y'all so much, Bulls Nation. Make sure you always see red. You already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.